So you've taken a SIBO breath test and it's come back positive, but is it really SIBO? Well, not always, and here's why. So if you've seen my video on SIBO breath testing, you may remember that there are two similar breath tests, just using different sugar solution drinks. So one is lactulose and the other is glucose. So both tests can be super useful, but of course they have their limitations. So I just want to quickly explain to you what those limitations could be. So first, let's look at the SIBO breath test using the lactulose drink. So it's probably the most commonly used, but also potentially the most prone to false positives. So if someone has fast gut transit, that can often lead to lactulose reaching the colon earlier than expected, and the bacteria that is in the large intestine begin fermenting the lactulose earlier than expected. This is a normal process in the large intestine. But this can create the hydrogen or the methane spikes that look like SIBO, but actually aren't. So this can especially be common in people with diarrhea or hyperactive bowels, like in diarrhea predominant irritable bowel syndrome, or IBSD. So now when it comes to the SIBO breath test that uses the glucose solution as the drink, this test is generally seen as more specific, but even glucose testing can give false positives under certain circumstances or certain conditions. So on the other hand, if a person has delayed gastric emptying or bacterial overgrowth in the very upper part of their small intestine, that early fermentation can trigger a gas spike, which could look like SIBO even if it's not causing any of those SIBO symptoms. So while glucose is less likely to give a false positive than lactulose, it still needs to be interpreted carefully. And in context, of course, with symptoms, if you are experiencing those SIBO symptoms, your health and medical history, and how the testing was actually done. So no breath tests are perfect. And it's just clinical judgment that brings all these bits of information together. There's also other reasons other than the testing drink choice that can result in false positives. So things like the preparation protocol not being followed correctly, that could be an issue. So that's things like eating fermentable foods, or smoking or vaping, exercising, or even brushing your teeth too close to the testing time. This can all affect baseline readings and falsely elevate gas levels. If you've recently taken antibiotics or probiotics, that could be an issue. Or if you have oral bacterial overgrowth, which can affect the early gas readings. So again, this is why I cannot stress enough that interpreting your SIBO breath tests takes experience. A spike on the graph doesn't automatically mean SIBO by default. We need to ask things like, where's the spike? When does it happen? What are your symptoms? It's all part of the puzzle, and it's not the whole picture.